welcome everybody. It's an event hosted by TRG today, and we've got some TRG members and also some visitors, either who are not members of TRG but are enrolled in our free education, or are members of our Facebook group, Volume and Order Flow Traders. So welcome everybody, thanks for coming along. And what we've done today is we have invited Kevin and Jay, co-founders of Funded Trade Network, along, who are a newer evaluator. And I had a call with Kevin, it's about a week ago, I think, wasn't it now, Kevin?
Yeah.
Where, wanted to touch base, get a sense of what has brought you into this market. Because we've been playing the valuations forever, since it was just Top Step and maybe at the time MES Capital, before they even, got aligned with One Up and they kind of fused together. And the past 2 or 3 years, this whole space has just exploded. Certainly the past year, there've probably been half a dozen new entrants.
Right.
So really, for the benefit of our members, we thought it'd be really good to give you guys a platform to introduce yourselves, give some background to your trading experience. I know you've both been funded at a couple of evaluators, and set the scene as to why you've put your evaluation and prop firm together. It'd be interesting to get your whole take on this space, what you're looking to achieve, and we can open up questions to people sitting on the Zoom. We thought, let's turn the floor over to you to introduce yourselves, and we'll riff around the whole evaluation space, your entry into it, and why people should consider getting funded with you guys.
Sure. Well, I'll take it off here, Jay, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I was born in South Africa. I moved to United States in 2008. I was in the security industry in South Africa, moved here in 2008, then moved up to Canada in 2012, where I eventually immigrated, and now I moved back down to Florida. I come out of the real estate industry. I had a real estate company, which I actually shut down because of my trading. But yeah, I've been trading. I started out in Forex, took a couple of Forex courses way back 2012. Didn't find much luck because I didn't have the money to put into it at the time. Then I found my way to crypto, of course. When crypto blew up, you could start with $50, so that's where I started. Blew up a few accounts, blew up a few big accounts, personal money accounts, over leveraged, the regular trader stories. And,
nobody does that. Come on. I don't know what you're talking about.
And eventually found futures. And, I was introduced to futures by a previous mentor of mine. Actually, a friend of mine called me one day and said, "Hey, man, check out this video. We used to trade together. We used to trade crypto together." And we were in the real estate world together too. And he said, "Hey, man, check out futures." So we checked it out and kind of started out. You can figure it out. You can start out with, $300-$500 or whatever the case may be. And blew another account or two with that until I finally found a mentor that helped me along the way. And started to see success with it, started to be consistent with it. And then, I was in the real estate industry flipping houses remotely. And I figured that it's time to shut down the real estate. This is what I want. I don't have to rely on anyone. It's only myself. Never have to look for a buyer. Never have to look for a seller. They're always there in the market. So that's how I got trading. That's how my trading career took off, and finally found consistency with it probably about 3.5 years ago. And started to shut down my real estate process and my real estate company. Or in the process of it. And I finally closed the doors about 1.5 years ago, completely closed the doors. And was funded with a few prop firms, a few of the names that are around today. Was frustrated by some certain things that were there. Me and Jay met 2.5 years ago. He introduced me to Market Profile, actually. And we've been trading together ever since. We had another company called Apex Capital together where we just did some mentorships. And that's how we got to trading together. And I'll let Jay introduce himself and tell you where he's from, what he's about.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Hello, everybody. Jay here. So I'm located up here in the tri-state in Jersey, actually from Philly. I've been trading about closer to 11 years, I guess now, 10, 11 years. Pretty similar story to a lot of traders, same kind of similar to what Kevin said. Found trading, thought it was, you know, get rich quick, if you will, or put $1,000, $500 into an account, and next week I'll have 100,000, stuff like that. All the wrong ways to look at things. And actually, I would say I think I took longer than the average, consistent, profitable trader to get to that point, because the few trader, like my mentor actually said, probably 2 years it took him to really kind of nail something down and get it together. And for me, it took longer than that. It was probably about 3 years and a little bit of change. Because I'm a stubborn son of a gun, and I banged my head against the wall a million times, and just wasn't really trying to listen to anyone. And yeah, I'm definitely stubborn. I know that. But eventually was able to turn things around. Cost a lot of money. Obviously, blew up a lot of accounts, like most traders, and finally kind of got to a point where it was either go for broke or make it work. And I'm stubborn, so I wasn't ready to throw in the towel. And I ended up stringing together some consistency. But as far as trading products and things like that, started with Forex too. Pardon me. Was in the whole crypto first bull run. But I would say my stomping grounds is the Forex market, which if anyone trades Forex, it can, here in the States at least, you can't, there's no spread betting or CFDs, so it can be a little dicey. But learned a lot of hard lessons. Ended up here in the futures market, mostly because at the time I wasn't very well capitalized, and the afforded leverage that's kind of baked in the futures is pretty attractive. So naturally I moved over to futures, bombed the few accounts, just getting used to things, and again, ended up stringing together some consistency after quite some time. But as far as the prop firm side of things, I'm not going to point anyone out in particular. I was funded with a company, and it's probably the only other company that I would go with again, because I thought they were solid for sure. But as one of the guys here mentioned earlier, the space has exploded in the past, year, 2 years, especially. And we basically put together FFM because we were seeing a lot of things that just weren't very transparent, or it seemed like they weren't really forthcoming with a lot of important details. And maybe, again, I'm not here to speak bad about other people, but just some things were kind of misrepresented to me, it seemed like. So as Kevin mentioned, we were trading together, and we just came up with the idea, like we could kind of fill this hole and do this better.
So I for one, I appreciate, it's not appropriate to badmouth other companies. This is also, in the whole trading industry, though, is very Wild West and snake oil filled. And it's been that way since, America's been that way since 1800, buy this miracle hairy growth formula and whatever.
Well, we don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, of course, people have to do their due diligence. But in your joint experiences of having been funded by a couple of companies and had both good and bad experiences going through that process in terms of withdrawals and loss of funded accounts and the profits contained therein, if you were an aspiring undercapitalized trader looking at evaluators, and you would say, if you're really going to kick the tires and press hard on qualifying what makes an evaluator a safe and secure place to be, what would you say are the points to really look at closely?
For me, point number one is, do they use real cash in their accounts? Do they use real funded accounts, or is it a sum account? Reason for that being, and that's why we do use like real cash accounts. The reason for that being, number one, is why do they not use real cash accounts? If you pass the evaluation, are you not a trader in their eyes then? You know what I mean?
Totally.
If you pass their evaluation and they use and abide by their rules and get through the evaluation and pass, why would they not give you money if that is the game? Why would they not give you real money to trade with?
And that's the key right there. If that is the game, you just said it, because it's not the game for most of them. We know that.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, again, we wanted to be different in, again, bad experiences and misrepresentation, get to the funded level, didn't read the one little line on the third page of the fourth page of the website, and then you find out, well, you can't withdraw your money for 4 months. Or you can, but it's limited. And again, for a trader like me, that's frustrating. We trade to make money, right? I mean, that's ultimately what it's about, is to be able to withdraw your capital. And you get to a point where it's like, okay, well, now I can't withdraw it for 4 or 5 months or 2 months or 3 months, whatever the case may be, whatever it is. Why do they do that? In my opinion.
And that has a psychological impact on your trading style and approach as well.
Of course, trading is the hardest game in the world. I mean, that's why only a certain percent of people make it through to the end. I mean, to me, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. And I've built multiple companies. I built a real estate company. I built a construction company. And honestly, it's one of the hardest things to get consistent, because you're fighting against yourself. You can't blame anyone else, right? And again, when you get to the end and you can't withdraw your money, what's the point? And I don't know.
I thought it was because of the crap indicator that guy sold me. Isn't that it?
Of course it is. Of course it is. That's one part. But I mean, that to me, that's point number one. I don't know, Jay, you can add to that, I'm sure. But
no, definitely. Plain and simple, the end goal in trading is to make money. So if there's no transparency and being upfront as to how you're going to get paid, when can you get paid, and to be fair, maybe some companies are somewhat transparent about when, but as Kevin mentioned, 4 months, like, I don't know about anyone else here, but if I put in first of all, as everyone knows, trading is incredibly difficult. It's 100% the hardest thing that I've ever tried to do in my life, without question. If you put in 4 months of hard work, more even, to get to that finish line where you're able to make money and get paid out from a company, I don't want to wait 4 months in addition to what I've already put in to get paid, period. I think the general idea is you're getting a funded account. As I mentioned, the goal is to make money, right? That's why we're all here. And I think, if you go to a funding company and it's not straightforward, cut and dry, this is what you need to do to pass, this is what you need to do to get funded, this is how you can get paid when you get funded, then unfortunately I'll be a little skeptical of that company. But
okay, so you think really a key barometer of the company is, are you in a proper cash funded account and with no or minimal hurdles to actually withdrawing your trading profits from that account?
Correct.
Yes, definitely. And also because, I mean, I've heard people say like, well, I don't really care if it's SIM or not. If they're going to pay me, they're going to pay me. But everyone's entitled to their opinion, of course. If you want to go that route, you can do whatever you want, of course. But my main question to that is why, from this side of the table, owning the company, why would I ever want to do that? First of all, that puts me in not a great position, and it's not beneficial to, my traders. It's just not. I don't really see, and also it kind of brings up other questions like not only why would you advertise funded accounts and then trade in SIM if they're not real funded accounts, but what other kind of, I don't know. It just seems kind of, it doesn't make a ton of sense to me, honestly. And I don't know the process behind other companies, obviously, but I just, if you're going to advertise funded accounts and you want traders to make money, because again, we're all here to make money. That's the name of the game. If my traders make money on our desk, we make money. We want our traders to do well because we get paid off that too.
Of course. Yeah, from a business standpoint, I mean, that kind of the snake eating itself. I mean, what happens if you get a trader come by, you put him in a SIM account and he makes 10 grand a month? Eventually,
certainly any company that uses a live sim forever and may or may not copy trades into the real market as they describe it. Well, there are some smarter things you can do, but I'm not going to disclose that here. They carry risk of someone being successful, which does feel a bit odd if you are purporting to be a prop firm, but it is not necessarily beneficial to your business model to pay out a successful trader. There's a conflict there. So I hear what you're saying. Exactly. We know collectively there are 2, 3, 4 evaluators in total that run a model based upon proper cash funded accounts, and maybe you place it in immediately, maybe you go through a period. With you guys, it's like a couple of weeks or so of live sim. A couple of them are similar. One of them used to do that, and then they stopped doing that, or they stopped allowing withdrawals of the profit from the live sim. I want to address a couple of the questions. I'm monitoring the chat, so as they seem timely to the discussion, I'll interject with those. So Philippe, who is one of the long-term members, and he's been funded by 2 or 3 evaluators. He is wanting to understand if you're in a proper cash account, let's just say cash account, shorthand, are you going to be subject to CME professional data fees?
Yes. So if you're just trading CME products, like the most popular, E-mini, NQ, NYMEX crude, things like that, there'll be $120 a month for each exchange, ESNQ and such trading on the same platform. So $120 will get you ESNQ, the Russell, like most of the most popular futures, and that just comes right out of your cash, out of your sub account.
Okay, so you're not taking a credit card payment like some of the other evaluators are. It's just, here is an account, your fees are deducted by the brokerage, and off you go.
Initially, correct. Initially once they pass and they get to the evaluation account, there is for the initial set.
First month's fees or whatever. Yeah.
And then it goes off the from there on out. It goes off the sub account.
Yeah, and it's interesting as well. I've been doing some analysis on things like what is the cost to your first withdrawal, which is then balancing things like withdrawal restrictions, data fees, any hurdles that you've got to overcome. And a little while ago, one of the evaluators, and it's actually one of them that has a fixed price, one-time live account payment. It's live sim, but it's one time rather than recurring. But that one time on a 50K account is about equivalent to 2 months rolling payments with any of the others. It's $150, that kind of level. Right. Except it's tiered by the account size. And they were doing a lowball deal on the valuations, massive discount. Right. But it was many hundreds of dollars as the one-off payment once you were live. And that took a few people by surprise. And it's very interesting that people do tend to balk at the pro data fees. 132 per exchange, I think it is now. Right. Because they're thinking, well, I'm used to my CME bundle, and if I have all 4 exchanges, including COMEX, suddenly I'm into this for 400 and whatever a month. But the reality is, actually, most people are trading, ESNQ, maybe looking at RCY, maybe looking at YM for correlation, but not trading it. So it's feasible to get by on $132 a month, and you start to look at like for like, some of the $85 a month for live sim or whatever it is, and it's not that different. But people are always assessing initially, of course, on a headline number.
Well, and the jump from non-pro to pro fees is startling, to say, if you haven't been around this long enough. I'm not a professional. I'm
just looking to make a living from doing this.
Exactly. But I'm not a professional. I'm just consistently pulling money out of the market. But professional? No.
That's something that's never bothered me. And I know me and Jay had a discussion about this way back when I had a friend or like a coworker that was, what about the fees? The fees have never bothered me. I've always looked at the fees as a cost of doing business. Again, you pay
exactly.
It's $400. Again, if your fees are if the $132 are going to deter you from getting a real cash funded account, maybe you need to reevaluate your trading as a trader. Because to me, and I speak for myself. $1,000, $500, $800,000, $2,000 a day. consistently, it's hard to do, but it's doable. I mean, those fees just they don't mean anything. You know what I mean? The leverage it gives you is to me is irrelevant. But that's just my opinion. Again, to me, I've never.
I share that view, and so when people complain about commissions and they're not realizing actually the bulk of it is NFA and CME that's eating us up, not broker and FCM commissions. We had a discussion a while ago with a guy who came out of the group. He was saying that in order for his quote strategy to work, he would have needed to lease a seat, and it's like, well, that means that it's really marginal in terms of how your strategy is working, because it is not what you are paying per round trip that should be the key to your success or failure in this.
Exactly.
Or certainly not as a human doing stuff discretionarily.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, it's
100%.
no different than any other business in the world, right? I mean, if you're going to go sell a product on Amazon and your cost of business is $25 and you're asking $25.50 for it, is it worth it making 50 cents when you know what I mean? It's again, look at the strategy maybe, or that again, it's just my view on the fees, but
yeah, I think if the only, and again, this is just my personal opinion, but if that is really, as someone had just mentioned, if that's really your deciding factor, I would definitely reevaluate. One, because there's differences in sim environment and live environment, right? Everyone knows the fills are not the exact same. So if you're taking advantage of, 2-tick moves in the ES or something like that, and you're running a scalping algo or something to the point where it makes a huge difference, with the commissions or what your, not so much your data fees, obviously, but more so your commissions. If that's taking a huge chunk out of your expected value, then I would just, reevaluate, because that bot or whatever scalping algo that's taken 2 ticks out of the sim market, excuse me, probably is going to be at a disadvantage in the live market, because man versus machine is not an ideal setup, and the machines that are out there are very, very, very high quality and complex, and huge firms that are running algos that are all hunting for 1 tick. Personally, I don't want that to be my competition at all.
Right.
And I feel like that's probably the one situation where that's really going to beat you up a bit, is if you're scalping 300 trades a day and stuff like that.
That's because Jeff, my co-founder, will scalp 300 trades a day. But part of this is in scaling as well. So, maybe Jeff, do you want to speak to that thought process? Because, you've got a bunch of funded accounts as well as cash.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Is my sound working? Yeah, it is. Yeah, I agree kind of in principle, but what your co-founder said, I agree more with that. It's just a cost of doing business. I look at a scalp, if I do, if I'm trading ES and I get a tick, that's $8 profit, and it costs me, 3 whatever in commission. And, that's a really good margin. The only margins better than that are in the software business, So what I do is I trade blocks of micros and I scalp them, but I'm not micro scalping against algorithms, where they're just, they're on both sides of the trade just looking for ticks. What I'm doing is trading very, very short-term ranges. So I have more to work with. So that's the distinction between what you're saying.
The people trying to play market maker because they've watched videos on market making techniques in the dome.
Exactly.
Yeah, no way.
They're fooling themselves.
Totally.
Probably should have been a more accurate with exactly what I was describing there, because like you said, technically, it depends what you're doing. And that's in my personal experience, if I'm in and out of that many trades a day, this is just for me personally, as a, individual trader, I make my money in 3 trades a day. Usually, if I go well beyond past that, it's just probably not good in my situation. But again, that's just me and my strategy. So of course, everybody has their thing and their thing that works for them. And I probably should have been a little more clear in exactly what I was saying. Like you said,
we understand the intent. We understand the difference as well between the people that are trying to do sim abuse and why this is a risk for any evaluation company that's using sim or live sim. Versus what you can do in cash market with some clever software versus what you can do discretionarily by going for small numbers of ticks a lot of the time. Now, it's something I want to move into. Tom put a question earlier, and Tom is one of our longer-term members. He used to be a floor trader on options as well, 20 years, something like that. So Tom has asked, what do you think makes traders successful in passing the evaluations? I think that would be interesting to hear from you guys about, but also a bit of context and scope around what your user base, the shape and the size of your user base is like, an idea of how many people have been funded, longevity, this kind of things. I know you've got a Discord group of your traders, and if you're coming to this as the business model is about making money from a prop model, not from failed evaluations, which naturally failed evaluations is the business model of evaluators. What's that looking like? What are the keys to success in your successful traders in the prop firm? And what's the prop firm looking like?
The biggest thing for me, I think, in passing evaluations is, number one, understanding the rule. People come into these companies, ours included, and sign up and break a rule. They reset 3-4 times before they even start to understand the rules. And I mean, we have gone over and above putting our rules everywhere on our webpage, everywhere. And we got a Discord full of our rules. We got a rules channel. And people just don't. It's as if they don't care about it, right? They come in, and I mean, again, it's not everyone, but understanding the rules for sure, number one, and understanding the rules is the first part. Having a company that has the right rules is the second part. For us, again, with the right rules, you got to be consistent. You got to slow down, and that's why we have the consistency rule. Anyone can you can take a 5-year-old child and give them a market and you can make money the first day. You can make 10, 20 grand the first day. But doing it consistently, I mean, we all know that your emotions play a toll on you, and when you have that losing day, can you control it or can you not? And again, that's where the consistency part comes in. And slowing down, like honestly, just slow down. Like people look at this as, I know I can pass this evaluation in 2 days or 3 days.
And why?
Exactly. Why? Exactly. And that is why, we have a 7-day to attract, that person. Again, the money coming in the front door, we don't need it for the back door. I mean, we got funded, we got a funding partner on the back door. So again, a lot of our funds in the front door go towards helping people. And people in our Discord can attest to this. If there's anyone in here, I don't know if there's anyone in here that's in our Discord. If you're going to reset 3 or 4 times, you're going to get a phone call from a risk manager say, listen, how can we help you? Like, what are you doing? Like,
that's really good. That's really good. Because I don't think that happens. I don't think anyone does that.
I reset 10 times in 1 day. I'm here to say I reset 10 times in 1 day with a prop firm. I didn't even get an email. I got an email to say your account's been reset.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Email you and say, thanks for the money?
Exactly.
Some of them offer a discount for you to reset right after you crash it. I've seen that. Yeah.
Yep.
Or monthly reset. Actually, you're right, Jeff. Yeah, there are people, aren't there, or if you look to cancel, they'll offer you a discounted reset. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All you have to do is tell them on the little check boxes that you found a better vendor, and they'll send you a discount. Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's a casino model, right?
Exactly what it is. Yeah.
For us, we're running on a 4% pass rate right now, indoor back to get to our funded account is where we're running right now. About 4% of people pass. And again, I think the longer they are in our Discord, the better they will do, because we promote the right things in our Discord, and myself and Jay stream live. And I think that has a big effect on people. Well, I mean, you can see by the comments in our Discord of what people say. We had a guy come in, he was from us with a start, and he was a gunslinger, man. And he passed his evaluation, he got to his funded account. He made $1,000 the first day on his funded account. And again, a message back to us is thank you for the streams. Thank you for we post videos about psychology. I talk about it all the time. I mean, again, on our mentorship that we offer, I do the psychology part of it because I struggled with that for the longest time, changing my beliefs. And so, I mean, I think that part of it for me is key to passing an evaluation, is understanding the rules, number one, and finding a company that has the right rules in place, and not just, sure, you can pass it in 1 day. What's that going to help? Get your certificate on the wall? And I think that's what a lot of people are after.
Yep. So yeah. So to the having the right rules and whatnot, because I'm listening to you. I mean, yeah, I'm here to help moderate and so forth, but I'm here as a TRG member, which is how I started out. I evolved into my role as community manager in TRG, and so I'm listening to you with my trader hat on and my my participant in evaluation companies hat on, and I like what you're saying. I agree with everything you're saying. My experience has shown me that, everything you and Lee have talked about is totally true. Casino model, the approach that they take, they promote all the wrong habits, all the wrong behaviors, non-cash accounts, all of it. I like everything you're saying. Then the objective reality kicks in. And I think I put my marketer hat on because I was a digital marketer for the last, almost 20 years. And so I put that hat on. I think, okay, from a marketing standpoint, yeah, they're saying the right things, but is that going to be the most appealing thing to the average, Joe Jane, whoever out there who wants to just get in and grab some money and has all these wrong ideas and delusions of grandeur and, all of it. How do you attract these people when what you're saying is right and is good and is valid and is true, and I know it, we know it, those of us who've been around this long enough know it, but it's not sexy, it's not, it doesn't hook those emotional components that switch off the brain, switch off the critical thinking, make people just go, oh my God, I gotta go use these guys. How do you balance that?
Jay, you want to answer that?
I mean, it's definitely, it's tough. Like, as you said, I mean, the whole casino model. So like part of my, and I didn't mention this before, but I played poker professionally before I got into trading, actually.
Oh,
so I know all about the casino model. And I mean,
yeah,
I'm talking World Series of Poker in Las Vegas, like the whole thing. And there's this old kind of understanding about casino model in general. When you walk into a casino, the easiest game is the worst odds, right? One of those big wheels that you spin,
the slot machine,
land on the collar, right?
Right.
The hardest game, which probably poker, maybe craps. I don't know. I'm not like a table game kind of guy, but I'm pretty certain that's like the most intricate game. Those have your best odds, and that's why you have people, trying to use an edge, make money there consistently.
Yeah. They have things you can tilt. You can tweak the edge. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or you have, more control personally, and you can kind of control things a bit more than just clicking a button on a slot machine and leaving it up to the win. But, so, as it relates to what we're talking about, that's a tough thing to get traders to understand. Cause like you said, those shiny bells and whistles and all that, and, make 100K in 2 days, click here is usually what draws in. And I really disagree with the whole thing entirely. I think it's pretty gross, because most of the time I feel like it's taking advantage of traders.
Oh, totally.
Are not traders even, they're just getting into things and just figuring things out, maybe a little bit. And then it kind of instills this bad thought process that is very hard to break and rebuild. And I know, because I was there too. Like when I started trading, like I said, you think you can make $1 million in a month, off of $1,000 account.
Totally.
That kind of thing is promoted. So you're 100% right about that. How do we get around it? I mean, we just don't make those kind of crazy false promises, I don't think. I mean, when someone, because we have our phone number out there, right? And people call us every so often and ask questions. And I'll talk to someone. I just talked to someone the other day who literally asked me, like, is it possible to make $1 million a year in your funded account? And I said, how long do you have in trading? I mean, where are you at in your trading lifespan? Like, did you just start last year? Because then the answer is no, most likely. We just don't really lean on that type of stuff. We're like Kevin mentioned. I mean, we're in the Discord every day, streaming every day, and it's as real as it gets. Like, every trader has a bad day, right? I had a bad day last week, and everyone on stream, however many people are in there, saw me turn off my microphone, say, I'm going to take a couple laps, guys, I'll be back later. And I was, pissed and stormed out, and, that's as real as it gets. So, and, to to kind of bring it back to exactly what you were asking, we just don't really lean on that kind of false promises and shiny bells and whistle stuff. And, you know, perhaps we get the right traders because of that. You know, we'll see. We're still what, almost 4 months up and running. So, but our whole goal is to get traders who want to make money, you know, for themselves, obviously, that in turn makes money for us. And, you know, selling the false stream is just not really in our, game plan.
I would rather, honestly, I mean, it goes back to our why we started this is because we were on the receiving end of those deceptive marketing things. I was, for sure, you know, reset. And, you know, look at your credit card and it's $3,000 in for the month. Could have kept the $3,000 rather, you know what I mean? And like I said, if you're going to reset 5, 6, 7, you're going to reset 2-3 times in a day, you're going to get a phone call. You're going to be in your live account and you're going to make. There was a guy Thursday, that ran his account up to $1,600 in profit and back down to zero. I hit him up and called him. I said to him, "What are you doing?" "Whoa, stop, dude! Like, come on, man." Yeah, you know what? I needed this phone call. I know. That's why I called you.
Yeah, that's what a risk manager is for. And that's that's what real prop firms do. You know, I'm always telling people in our Facebook group and other places, whatever, you know, because they refer to all these evaluator companies as prop accounts, prop firms, and I'm always pointing out to people, these are not prop firms. That's not what they are. You know, they make it sound like it. They lead you to think that's not what they are. But what you're talking about, you know, for the funded traders is actually, it sounds like you are running it as a prop firm, as you should, with a risk manager who's going to call you and monitor stuff. And it's not just a video game. And that's really cool. So that definitely gives me sort of the first answer to what I was going to ask, which was just sort of the, you know, like, why would I, as somebody who, like, I'm currently right now, I'm funded with Lilu. I'm working on a funded account with them. I've been funded with 2 or 3 other companies, I think, at this point. I can't remember now. But I have yet in any of them to get to the withdrawal point. Like, I am not quite there yet. What's that?
That's what they pry on. They pry on.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean,
totally.
It's a business model that works. I mean, you're going to have those Lambo traders, right? I'll call them Lambo traders. You're going to have the guy that wants to buy the Lamborghini tomorrow or see the flashy guy. And I mean, you know, is it right marketing that way? To me, no, it's not. I mean, what is marketing? I mean, you got to ask that question, right? I mean, again, it's prize on people's emotions. That's why the guys have flashy Lamborghinis. They have big cars. They have these flashy houses and. Because it creates their dream, right? You're selling the dream. You're not selling the product. And again, I would rather have and retain my funded traders in my funded account or in our funded account, as opposed to have people just circling through the door. Because eventually, you're going to have people coming in and out, and the reviews are going to get worse and worse and worse. It's just a question of time, or a question of time before you run out of money to pay it out the back door.
Right. So the first thing that I'm definitely hearing, as far as like, you know, why would I want to get funded with you guys, is because you are going to, you know, you're going to run it. I'm going to have a risk manager looking over my shoulder, which, you know, as my trader, we within TRG, we talk a lot about being your own general manager, because we have to be. If we're a solo trader, you got to also be that. You got to be the risk manager. You got to be the general manager. You got to be the trader. You got to be all the roles. But it's a lot. It's very helpful, I think, to have an external risk manager who's not you, because putting that wall up between your inner trader and your inner general manager is really freaking hard. So I really, yeah, totally. So I like that. I like what you're saying about that a lot as a trader, you know, knowing that I would have that. So this goes actually to Bauer's question. Bauer in the chat was asking this as well, and I was wondering this myself, is, you know, you guys seem to be like, if I was going to take another existing evaluator company out there that is the most, you know, not the same certainly, but the closest match to you guys, it would probably have to be TopStep, because of course the 2-step model and so forth, and that's kind of like what you guys have. It's not exactly the same, but it's sort of similar. So the question that Bauer asked that I also had was, you know, how do you differentiate your approach to handling fundeds from the way TopStep does it? And he says, you know, TopStep funded account started with zero balance. What about you guys? Can you explain a bit deeper how you guys set up the funded accounts?
Yeah, so the exhibition account, we got the exhibition account, which is like a live sum right after, and that's just you use that for a time frame while we set up your sub account, which can take up to 10 or 15 days.
Gotcha. So you can keep trading.
Correct. Yeah, and you can make up that money that predetermined amount that we have in there, and it's scaled per each contract per each account size. Then we actually deposit that into your live account.
Excellent.
So that is
so you don't lose that.
Fail safe. Correct. Yeah. Correct.
Good.
You can dip into it, but you cannot withdraw it.
It's
Gotcha.
equal to the amount that you have to have as a buffer. So there's an amount that you have to have as a buffer in the funded account to withdraw, and it's equal to your trailing drawdown. So it's not some outrageous number like 50K account. It's
$2,000.
2K. So you have a 2K trailing draw, and you have a 2K what would you call it?
Buffer that you have to leave in, or cushion, right?
Right. Like a threshold essentially. So when you make that in the middle period, when you're waiting for your funded account to be set up, your target is that buffer. So again, 2K on a 50K account, you make the 2K in the exhibition account, while you're waiting for your funded account to get set up, and then that gets credited to your funded account. So on your very first day in your funded account, if you have a crazy, strong trending day and you're long all day or whatever the case may be, and you make 5K, you'll be in the position to be able to withdraw immediately because you're already past.
You've already
that
exceeded
buffer.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, you can withdraw into it your first day and you won't fail. So you got that $2,000 drawdown. Once you hit your $2,000 drawdown, of course, your account's your account will terminate the account. But you can draw down into it for the first 2 days and then come out of it, then and keep going. And then again, you can withdraw into it, your money, right?
I think another difference. I'm not 100% sure on Top Step of how they set this up. Actually, I used them a while back, and I know they made some changes, but our trailing drawdown in the funded account it stops trailing once it gets to your threshold. So in a 50K account, if you make, 10K over a given amount of time, it doesn't follow you all the way up. It actually stops
at your starting balance. Yeah.
Right. So that excess capital that's in there and this is another thing that I'll get to in a second, but that excess capital is still there. It doesn't follow you all the way up. So one bad day, theoretically isn't going to take you out as long as you can manage your risk. It's not aggressively trailing your P&L to the upside like that. It actually stops. The other thing is, and again, not here to mention any companies in particular, but we noticed there's a thing where in a certain funded account, you can make, X amount of dollars, let's just say 10K to keep the math easy. And then you break a rule, and that excess money that is, in addition to what your starting balance was, doesn't go like you lose it basically.
Right. So they don't pay it out, even though you earned it. They don't pay it out.
Exactly. I think that
would suck. Yeah.
And that rule was changed in June, I think. But and it's just it's crazy. So you only get the amount that you're allowed for that month per day. So if you're allowed, $2,000 for that month, and you traded 2 days, you can work it out. 2,000 divided by 30 times 2. That's what you're going to pay out, even if you made 10 grand.
Okay. I wouldn't be a big fan of that for sure. Nope. So in the chat again, so Steve's got a question on the risk management side from a software perspective. Is a lot of us are used to working with Rithmic, and actually, let me ask that first. Let me slow down. Are you guys using Rithmic on the back end?
Yes.
Okay, so basically anything that's in the Rithmic Risk Manager is available. The traders can set their loss limits. They can do all the usual stuff.
Yes.
Anything that's available from the trader risk management tab. Yep. Correct.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So cool. And I actually don't think Rithmic has this, but I've never looked for it. So I don't know. He's actually wondering if in addition to the loss limit, which we know is there a profit limit? Does it allow you to have a profit limit where once you've hit a target for the day, it shuts you out? I don't think it does.
Think so.
I don't think so. I've never seen it. If it's
Yeah, I haven't either.
No, I
I
don't
don't know,
think
Lee, do you know differently on that by chance?
I haven't explored that in our trader. Obviously, Sierra chart, yeah, you can tell
Yeah,
it
you can in
to
Sierra.
lock at a profit. I'm not sure in our trader.
Yeah, I don't
And
think
yeah,
it
to
can.
Steve's
but-
point, the problem with all of these is anything that's trader set is overridable.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you got to have the discipline not to do it. That's the problem. Is
Right,
you decide,
exactly.
no, I'll give myself a little more room. Well, I can keep going. I'm having a really good day. I'm hot. I'm on a hot streak. Well, all that nonsense kicks in. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah.
I saw someone mention, or they had asked about, I think it was a little bit back, but they'd asked about contract limits, I think. And they asked if the platform would allow them to overtrade. And the answer is both yes and no, excuse me, because let's say, for example, you have a 6 contract limit and you put on, you fat finger 66 contracts in the ES. It's not going to let you won't fail. It doesn't let you do that. But if you put 4 contracts in the ES and then you go and put 4 contracts in crude and your max is 6, that'll liquidate it because it's over the limit, right? But the idea was to not let a fat finger make you reset your account.
Right. You still have to pay attention to what you're doing overall, but like a literal typo isn't going to kill you.
Right.
But that's a limitation of Rhythmic's risk manager, isn't it? Because it doesn't allow a global position limit. It's only a limit per symbol. And that's how you can trip over it in Rhythmic, where some desktop platforms.
It does. It does, Lee. It lets you set global, but the problem is have micros in there, and if you set it to 2, your micros are going to be restricted to 2. And I think Top Step's like that.
Yep.
Yeah. It's micros that mess it up. Yeah.
So I mean, we have the option of they can trade either micros or minis, whichever they choose. They can open either which funded account to give them the option. So whichever way they want to go. We have that option.
Cool.
Yeah.
I see Jeff asked about the high impact news, and so there's the evaluation, which is the main evaluation portion. Then you have the exhibitions when you're waiting for your funded account to get set up. Then you have the funded account. In the evaluation, there's no rules around trading the news. I've found that most of our traders thus far have tried to emulate what it would be like to be in the other 2 portions where you do have to follow certain rules around the news, but you don't have to in the evaluation. And then in the exhibition on forward into the funded account, we have a eco calendar integrated into our dashboard on FFN on our FFN website when you log in, and we tried to make it super easy because that was another kind of sticky point that we noticed. And basically, it's if there's a high impact event and there's a red icon, next to said event, you need to be flat for it. It's flat minute before and a minute after, and we actually had it 2 minutes before and 2 minutes after, and we just recently changed it to a minute before and a minute after. And that's just for any high impact event. And naturally, that's because it's real money. And as we all know, well, as most people know, the required margin can change dramatically in those times.
And this is true of micros and minis?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
That's unfortunate. That would be a deal breaker for me because I often scalp those events with micros. But I understand, why you're doing that. That's a common thing. Top Step still has it. The other guys don't, but yeah. It's
mostly the margin requirement. I mean, well, here's the other thing. If someone is in a funded account, just to answer your question directly, if someone's in a funded account and we see consistency and we see they put together a few months and they're good, they know what they're doing, we build a relationship and the idea here is to kind of have what a brick and mortar prop shop would have, right? So as we build that relationship,
everything's negotiable is where you're going. I get it.
100%.
Yeah.
If you scout micros and we can say, all right, we'll just don't go over this amount during this high impact event. We can do that. It's up to us.
Yeah.
It's our it's our account essentially and your account. So when we come to that agreement as a funded trader, yeah, absolutely. It's just in the beginning part, not so much.
Yeah, most people don't know how to do that, but it's actually, I teach a class on this, which is fun. So we have a TRG class on this specific thing. We actually traded NFP and FOMC this week, and we did really well.
Nice.
But I understand if you don't know what you're doing, and I would never try it with minis, but with micros, it's risk manageable. Definitely.
Well, and the average person isn't even remotely doing what you teach. they're trying to anticipate direction ahead of time and like bet into it and just,
Yeah, that's what
YOLO
screws
it.
them up. Exactly. Yeah, I trade extremes is what I do, guys. And but I've also been
Makes
trading
sense.
for close to 50 years. So it's
Right.
a
Exactly.
little bit of experience.
Exactly.
I mean, that's for us, for our rules in the front end, it gets you, the rules gets, I mean, if you follow the rules and you don't, I mean, you're more probable to pass and get your funded account. And if you apply those rules through the exhibition and into your funded, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Yep. Cool.
And we don't have a daily drawdown, but I mean,
Yeah. Cool. Steve was wondering, maybe I missed this. I'm not sure, but if in case you haven't addressed this, did you guys, when you decided to start Funded Futures Network, did you put up the capital for your traders yourself personally, or do you have funding partners who are putting up the capital, or where's that coming from?
it's our
We have
personal.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
It's the second. I was just going to say it's our capital. It's just a second entity.
Right. But it's you guys. You don't have some, cartel of partners behind the scene who are putting up the capital. Or
No, all
An
the
interesting
decisions lie
words
with
choice
us.
there.
Yeah.
You like that?
And it's in the US. The funding firm is US based.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Cool.
Yep.
Charles has pointed out something that you guys might want to look at, which is apparently the FAQ. And I actually just checked myself, and sure enough, you've got the video for how does the trailing drawdown work, links to YouTube, and the video's gone. So
Yes.
how does the trailing drawdown work? His specific question was, does the drawdown trail the max profit during a trade, or does it trail from the closed profit? Just want to confirm.
Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. So we're actually reshooting that video right now, and we probably could have had that done for this. So apologies for that. But no, it does not trail open P&L. It trails closed each trade. Essentially, when you close, it'll trail, and it will reference your highest P&L point for the session.
But it
So
doesn't
highest-
change
highest,
intra-trade.
It doesn't
Intra-trade.
trade intra-trade.
No,
Nope. Nope.
it's intraday closed P&L.
Nice.
Correct.
Yeah. All realized P&L. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Exactly.
Good. That's nice to see, because there's way too much of this intraday unrealized crap.
I'll tell you what,
Honestly, that's the
that-
craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. No doubt.
It's
It's
horrible.
crazy.
When we started this, we had this discussion. We batted it back and forth quite a few times, though. But yeah. No, none
Well,
of that.
it depends on what the nature of your one's business is
course.
designed to be.
Yeah. That's really it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cool.
If you want to cycle someone in a reset cycle of hell, and
Yep. The hamster
And,
wheel,
yeah.
we call it. Yeah.
exactly. Yep. Then open P&L is the way to go, I suppose.
Cool.
Steve, I see Steve's comment there. Yeah, that's exactly what we have to. I'd rather much prefer people on our trade desk than just people swinging through the door here. So
Yep. So I realized I missed a question actually for a little further back in the chat from Philippe. I think I understand what you're asking, Philippe. If I get your question wrong, apologies. And if you want to restate it, feel free. But if I get it right, then cool. So I'll give it a shot, which is when a trader is funded, you're in a funded account and something happens and they fail. Is it just, you failed, that's that? Or does your risk management team, i.e., I guess you guys, get on the phone with them to understand the failure, talk with them about it, and maybe it's not, in fact, an automatic fail, depending on what happened?
well, the only.
Go
Go ahead,
ahead,
Jay.
Kev. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say our goal is to get there before it happens, but as far as like the hard line rules go, and again, as I mentioned before, this is always negotiable. If there's a relationship built and someone's on our trade desk for 8, 10, 12 months, and there's crazy circumstance or something, we can always consider it.
Right.
But if
You
it's
get
like a hard
involved
line rule,
is what it comes to.
yes, exactly. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that pretty much answers it, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it
Cool.
hits his drawdown, there's no coming back from that, I guess. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if
Right.
you trade
Yeah, because
something-
that's the trader is supposed to manage the risk.
correct.
I mean, that's part of the job is to not let that happen, to be monitoring how close you are to it and not take crazy risk because, oh, well, I only got $100 left. I might as well YOLO it for this. And, that's not what you're after. So
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. Steve's asked, OCO orders and stop orders, are they held server side? That's a setting as far as I know. Right?
Well, that's good. Yeah, and that Rhythmic is, of course, capable of doing all this stuff server side. It's how you configure your desktop platform as to whether it will cope with that. Most should.
Yeah, I know it's a setting in Sierra. You can tell it to use them server side or not. Trade copying. Good point, Jeff. So a lot of us within TRG over the last year or so have gotten really interested in trade copying to be able to scale horizontally across multiple accounts and still trading small, but effectively multiplying your effort without having to trade bigger and bigger and bigger and take on more risk and so forth. Do you guys allow copy trading?
We currently you can't copy trade on unless you because you can't have multiple accounts with us. So you can have one account with one sign in. We are working on it. Our back end wasn't designed to have to handle multiple accounts. So our back end, and it's mainly our dashboard. And I don't know for you guys who don't know, we have a live dashboard in our website. It updates within every 3 to 5 seconds. So we don't wait till the end of the day to update our dashboard. It's live.
Oh, that's nice.
But we and I think we're the only company that does that, to my understanding. But
yeah, I haven't seen one.
I can think of one, but yeah, it's rare.
It gives you like the timestamps that it's updated. But back to the question here, we are working on having multiple accounts with one user. Again, as a company, we're probably about 3-4 weeks out to have where you can have like 3 or 4 accounts per user. Right now, if you want 2 accounts, you're gonna have to have 2 sign-ins, 2 emails, blah blah blah.
Gotcha. So then, yeah, obviously copy trading is a non-issue in that case because you're on 2 different Rhythmic logins, et cetera. So you can't do it.
We are in the process. That is coming.
Yeah.
As soon as that comes, we'll let the people know.
Yeah.
We are working on it.
Cool.
We're working on it. So
okay, coming soon to a trade desk near you.
Yeah, once that's implemented, then if you want to use trade copy software, go for it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, well, stay tuned for that. Let's see. Bowers just throwing another question into the chat. What stands behind the trailing drawdown percentage point on accounts? I noticed that the bigger account size, the smaller the drawdown in percentage points. 25K is 6%, 250K is 2.4%. I guess he's wondering how you arrived at those percentages.
Yeah,
I'm just reading. Yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm just reading the question one more time.
Mhm.
Stands behind the trailing drawdown percentage point. 25K, 6%, 252.4%. Well, mostly because, as we've kind of been alluding to, our entire thing is to get people on the funded desk and trade live capital. The more live capital that we put up for someone, it's not necessarily the less risk, but we're going to be a little bit tight. We don't want to have someone blow out a huge portion of an account, like 6%. Like 6% is much easier to stomach on a 50K than on a 250 is what I'm getting.
Right. Smaller percentage of a bigger number.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. You're welcome.
All right. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thanks. All right. Well, we have arrived at the end of the questions and we have arrived at the hour point. So I think it's probably a good point to start winding it up. You guys have been really transparent with everything, which is awesome. That's exactly what we are looking for and like to see. So thank you so much for coming on. Is there, anything else that you want to let the TRG family know and the folks in the Facebook group and YouTube channel and everywhere else that will eventually get this recording, about checking you guys out, taking you for a spin?
Yeah, I mean, on our website, a lot of people miss it. Top left-hand side of the website is our link to our Discord. Me and Jay are both moderators, are the only moderators in there right now. So until we grow to over 1,000 in there, then, we'll be in there. just look for us, hit us up. And if you have an account with us, if you do sign up for an account, come into our Discord and just hit us up with your Rhythmic login, and we'll change it's not automatic yet. We'll change your permissions in there to be able to see the live trade and all the other channels that pertain to the FFN traders. As for now, the guys that are in here, the guys that hear this, if you hear it in time, we're going to run a special for you guys, 60% off lifetime any account. And I think you guys will post the link there, Jonathan.
Sure, I can do that.
It's 60% of lifetime, not just for the first month on your subscriptions. So that's a deal we make exclusive to you guys. So
okay, 60% lifetime. Is there a code they need for that?
It'll be embedded in the link. It'll be embedded in the link that'll be posted.
Okay, gotcha. So you'll get that to me after.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Lee's got it already.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Then I will.
I just wanted to mention
collaborate
one
with
thing
Lee.
too. Sorry to cut you off there. I just
No
wanted
problem.
to make sure I was able to mention one thing as well, like because I know we've been definitely harping on the fact that we want good traders on our desk. Obviously, that's our goal, and to kind of replicate what a brick and mortar prop shop would have in place. But I think also just from a trader's standpoint, removing myself from the company entirely, if I was a new trader, one of the other major things that we took into consideration was if a new trader were to come to our company and follow these rules basically and stay in line with these risk management parameters, would it be promoting good, behavior, essentially, not non-gambling behavior? And so not just that we want, experienced, grizzled veterans on our trading desk, which we do, but also if you're a new trader, it's a good way to build some discipline and some, parameters to stick to instead of just kind of winging it and leaving it up to the trading gods or whatever.
Well, that's pretty much the core principle of what TRG is all about is process. We're always harping on process. That's what it's about. If you consistently execute a good process, you will end up with money. It's just a result. It's not what you're there to do. It's not your job. It's your job is to consistently execute a good process, and then the money takes care of itself. So very much in line with that.
For sure. To trade on sim is one thing. There's no emotion involved. There's nothing on the line. So, you don't really tap into that inner beast or that little caveman on your shoulder or that 2-year-old brain.
Totally.
As I call it. With a prop firm like us, whether it's ours or whoever's, you got a little bit on the line. You got the $100 reset fee, or you got the $85 or the $100 a month you got to pay. But it gets you live data, and it gets you a little something on, and that's what I learned when I started using the prop firms is it puts that little bit on the line. So that's what triggers your emotions. Like, you see that administrator only, and I cannot tell you how many monitors I've replaced when that thing pops up, man. And then I moved my monitors away from me, and then I threw my mouse at them. So it's just, again, it puts that something a little bit on the line, and again, some
Skin
we
in
can
the
all
game.
trade on some, right? Just get you that little something on the line. So that for sure. If you haven't looked at it, look into that. Buy a smallest package and start small, and take it easy, man. Just take it easy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we were just talking about this yesterday or the day before, I forget. And I made the comparison that, if you wanted to get really good at your baseball swing or your golf swing or, your handgun manipulation or whatever, you're going to go to a range or a, driving range, batting cages, shooting range, whatever. And you're going to pay an entry fee, and you're going to buy some ammo or some balls or some, whatever. And, you're going to say, hey, I'm going to go blow $50 at the batting cages or whatever in order to get good at something. And I think the evals should be treated the same way. But you're not there to screw around. You're there to work on getting good, and it's going to have a little cost associated with it. And if there's no cost whatsoever, then you have no real incentive to have to get good. So makes a lot of sense.
It's a lot cheaper than blowing a $40,000 or $100,000 account. I can tell you that.
Hell yeah! I'm in the 20 plus years I've been chasing this dream or whatever until I finally found TRG 2-3 years ago and started to really take it seriously and get serious. I'm 5 figures in to this whole adventure for sure. Easy. We got one more question from Jerome. In fact, do you offer a free reset if my account is in a blown state when my subscription is renewed?
That depends. It depends if you're on a cheap discount code or not. If you are, we do not. If you are on anything above 50%, we will comp you. It's going to reach out to us. It's not automatically done. You'll have to reach out to one of the moderators or to the guys in the chat bot. And the reason we do that is just for that specific thing that we spoke about.
Right.
And again, if you blow it the first day, again, if we have to comp people to do that every time, we are facilitating the casino method.
Yeah, they're not what you want.
Correct.
They're obviously not.
It's not to say that that's not what we want, but again, it's teaching the right behaviors to people, right? Well, okay, my subscription's up tomorrow. I just blow the account, right? So I'm going to get a free reset. That's not the right behaviors that we want on our desk. You know what I mean? So that's the biggest reason why we don't do that.
Yeah, totally agree. Very cool. Let's see. Oh, and Charles got another question as well. Is there any mechanism to graduate into a bigger funded account level as you progress, or does that require a whole new evaluation? So can you scale your account over time?
Once you fund it, yes. But while you're in evaluation, no.
Right. So, I mean, again, this all comes back to you guys are running this as an actual prop firm. And in a real prop firm, if you're reaching a point where you can handle more size and you've shown you're consistent, you're going to go to the risk manager and say, here's what I want to do. And they're going to talk to the partners and make a decision and might say, okay, you were on 50K. We're going to give you 75 now. See how you do.
Exactly.
And that makes a lot of sense. Very cool. This is a good approach. I like what you guys are saying. I like what you guys are doing. I'm gonna have to see about when I'm when I'm next in the market for a new eval to play with. I will be considering you guys for sure. So. Sure.
Cool.
Good stuff. All right. Well, we will get this recording produced, or I will get this recording produced a little later, and I'll get the link from Lee, and we will publish it. So let's go ahead and do as we say in TRG. We'll call this Burning Desires, which is your last call for questions, comments, anything you just got to get off your chest, anything you have to tell Kevin or Jay, any commentary, anything like that. Now is your chance. And then we will all go our separate ways. Oh, Charles has got another one. Oh, how long do we plan to run this discount? That's a good question. How long are you going to run this discount? I don't know.
It's going to run for 7 days. We'll run it for 7 days and then we'll go back. Okay. But just being part of TRG, you already get a discount already. Just speak to Lee about that. So
cool.
Yep.
All right, great. Yep. Thank you, everybody. Oh, calendar spreads. Can you do intraday calendar spreads? I assume, are you talking about options calendar spreads? Calendar spreads, Steve? Or so you want what? You want to do a futures calendar?
Yeah. So we got to always trade in the front month. So it wouldn't be able to deploy a calendar spread.
Yeah. So it's front month
all
futures.
The volumes in the front month. Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I assumed you were talking about options because I'm thinking a calendar spread in futures would be.
Right.
Yeah. And again, if someone's on the funded desk and that's, they have that strategy in the bag and they can
talk to you about it.
Show us
span margins
calendar
and whatever else.
For the past year. Yep. Yeah. We can consider it for sure. But in the evaluation, it's all front month stuff.
Gotcha. Cool. All right. Excellent. Let's see. So this is going to potentially devolve into a longer conversation, Steve. Maybe we should have this in TRG or something because I'm not understanding what you're going for. I don't know if Lee does, but
you're saying like buy the front month, sell the back month type of thing. Or
I'm just not understanding what that has to do with playing a pullback. I'm not.
Yeah, I don't.
Over multiple days, JVC.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of intraday, as an intraday swing trader. So
my experience in a prop firm as well was, when we were market making, it was all about spreads and trying to avoid getting filled at any cost.
Got it.
Sure.
The firm I was in was making market on cocoa for a while.
Lee did Coke. Okay, now I know.
Dozens of spread charts up, and the orders kept getting moved as soon as price got anywhere near. Because God help us if we actually had exposure. But I can remember a risk manager who, he started out, been in 20, 25 years, lots of spreads on CL, but it ends up just, outrights intraday, end of story, and be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you on that one. Cool. All right. I think that's it, gang. And I will get this video up today with the link and all that good stuff. So watch in TRG, of course, and watch the Facebook group and watch the YouTube channel. I will make sure it's everywhere. You won't be able to miss it.
Great stuff. So Kevin, Jay, thank you very much for coming along to this event, sharing your take. It's refreshing to hear sense which is coming from a consistent place, because we understand the evaluator model very well, and we're able to see through fluff, quite frankly. So it's nice to hear from people that are doing this with a view to actually making money from the prop side of it rather than the evaluation side of it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for your time. All right. Have a good one, everybody. We'll talk soon.
All right.
Thanks a lot. Bye for now.